Well, I'd like to mention an afterthought of the tribute to Freddie Mercury tonight, and this afterthought is dedicated to those who are LGBTQ plus and allies of those who are LGBTQ plus. Part of the thing about this is that something I considered when I first transitioned. This, like I said, this video is dedicated to those who are LGBTQ plus and allies of those who are LGBTQ plus. And after thought of a tribute to Freddie Mercury tonight, I like to consider something. When I first transitioned, I was thinking of transitioning after leaving the Milwaukee Research Park. I remember my dad and I watched a video, and it was my mother too on PBS. It's called it was about Alan Turing. Was not breaking the curve, but it was about bending the rules or something like that. Let me see. Just a minute. Let me just do a quick check. Let's see if I can find it. This was before the movie The Imitation Game came out and stuff like that. And let's see if I can find if I can. Um, well, what happened was basically it was the actor was Derek Jacobi, and he played a story about Alan Turing, how after his life after World War II was changed when he was discovered for being gay, and that though, and oh, breaking the code, yes, breaking the code, and so at the time that was on, my dad and mother and we talked about me transitioning, and my dad said, well, you know, if you transition, the one thing is you're going to have to live someplace else because you cannot live in Milwaukee because they will not accept you, and also you're going to go through a lot of hardship in the Midwest. And he said the second thing is that also if you wish to work in certain types of scientific circles, they won't accept you right now at that time because so the solution was basically to live closeted, work as male and live female by day, and do it very carefully. Um, One thing that helped me during that period was when I did discover the alt groups on the internet as alt transgendered, social transgendered, and about people who were able to sort of explore part of the lifestyle. Um, and part of the life, it wasn't a lifestyle, part of the life freely after they worked. I was able to self understand how to do that myself too. Then now, flash forward to like about 2015, I was at Common Council in Kenosha, and as part of Common Council, I would speak on those who didn't have a car, who about the commute bus service that exists in Kenosha, where but basically you had 5 buses that ran from 6 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. That's it. That's it. And Kenosha is a major city, third largest city in Wisconsin with 100,000 people. And at that time, what happened, I was at the Common Council meeting, I was speaking, and I noticed a friend of my dad's, former Mayor Bellotti. John was a good friend of my dad. They actually ran against each other when my dad ran for mayor in 1988. My dad ran for mayor twice. I ran for mayor once in Kenosha in 2016. You know what happens? At first, I didn't recognize John because it's been many years since I saw him. And finally walked up and I said, excuse me, are you? He says, yes, yes. And he called me by my original given name, and I said, you know, and what happens? I was thinking about what my dad and I talked about because he wanted me when I transitioned to wait till my mother was fully prepared. And actually, my mother wished that I would have transitioned sooner so I wouldn't have gone through the hardship because she was fully prepared already and knew in 1993, even prior to that, that I needed to transition. So I talked to John and I asked, I said, well, you know, John, you know, my dad, he said, whatever you and your dad talked about and how he felt then, he would be very proud of you today and tonight for that you come out to Common Council and to speak, and also that you did transition and you did speak. Excuse me, for it's very emotional. And that was a very happy moment because, um, in some ways, it was like hearing my dad's thoughts through a friend. And to many of us who are transgender, we go through a lot of meanness. We go through a lot of mean religious people, mean medical people. And that is why, even like with the hospital I'm working with, there's some things I'm considering of surgery, but I don't want to do it because they don't want to do in the operating room. They want to send me a surgical center because of their religious beliefs. That's why I may want to wait until I can actually get to California where I don't run into hospitals that have this religious bias. But to those who are transgender, remember your parents do support you even in death. And like when I talked to John that night, I felt my father's presence saying that I support you and I'm glad how much you have been built as a person to come out and speak publicly, even though others may ridicule you. So keep strong. And to tribute Freddie Mercury, he and Queen's music helped me get through quite a bit of a period. And for those in Milwaukee, please understand, although Milwaukee has changed a little bit, when I left in '93, I vowed I'd never work in Milwaukee again. There's a world outside Milwaukee, and don't hold yourself back.